Hello everybody out there in comic book land. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don, and I have a question for you comic book fans out there. Do you believe in fate? Because I do. I believe that in a moment's notice your entire world can get turned upside down. I believe that everything you knew or thought you knew about things can get changed at a moment's notice. I believe that your entire life can be changed in a flash. And with that, I'd like to invite you to Comic Book Clicks Crash Course in all things CW's The Flash. Throughout the publication of DC Comics, there have been many Flashes, all the way from the original Jay Garrick to the ever so popular Wally West. But the CW show actually focuses on the Barry Allen version of the Flash, so that's what we're gonna do right here. Barry Allen lived a normal life in Central City. He had a mom, he had a dad, and he even had a best friend named Iris West. Everything was going fine until at age 11, Barry Allen's mom was mysteriously murdered. And because nobody else was in the house, Barry's father, Henry Allen, is promptly arrested, charged with the murder of Nora Allen, and sent to Iron Heights prison for life. Determined to prove that his father was not the killer, however, Barry grows up and becomes a forensic scientist, specializing in cold cases or cases that are deemed unsolvable. Barry goes out of his way to gather as much evidence as he can to finish up these cases and put the perps in jail, because he believes if he can solve the unsolvable cases, he might get one step closer to freeing his father from Iron Heights prison and them becoming a family again. Barry is one of the greatest forensic scientists in Central City, working very closely with the Central City Police Department, and one day in his crime lab, Barry Allen is struck by a bolt of lightning which sends him hurtling into some forensic chemicals, giving him some extraordinary powers. All of a sudden, Barry could run at amazing speeds and had the ability to perceive everything around him as moving much slower. After taking on the mantle of the Flash from his great hero Jay Garrick, Barry decides to suit up for justice and save Central City, and one day prove that his father is actually an innocent man. The lightning bolt that struck Barry Allen not only gave him superhuman speed, but allowed him and his mind to move much faster than most, which allowed him to comprehend things and understand things at a speed most of us couldn't even comprehend. He's able to move his hands in a fast motion to create tornadoes, something he calls wind tunnels that can hurl his enemies miles away. Because Barry could run at the speed of sound, this allows him to do things like run on water, and he can vibrate his molecules so fast that he can actually phase through solid objects, so he don't have to worry about obstacles when he's running past the speed of sound. The best part of this super speed, however, is that Barry can run so fast that he actually alters time and space itself. Yes, the Flash can actually travel through time. Who knew you could do so much with super speed? Now that we've gotten all of the origin out of the way, CW debuted The Flash on October 7th, 2014, and over 4 million people tuned in to watch the story of Barry Allen. Things are a little bit different on the show to the comics, however. In the show, Barry Allen is actually adopted by Iris West's father, Joe West, who works for the CCPD. Iris and Joe become Barry's second family, while his father, Henry Allen, is in jail. The television show also introduces us to a different Star Labs. A Star Labs that creates a machine called the Particle Accelerator, something that's supposed to be the newest cutting edge of technology and supposed to give us clean energy. That Particle Accelerator, however, malfunctions, and its malfunction causes dark matter to explode all through Central City. And that's what actually gives Barry Allen his powers. It is the combination of the dark matter in his system, the lightning bolt, and the forensic science chemicals that allows Barry to be the speedster that we know he can be. After getting hit by that bolt of lightning, however, and after the particle accelerator exploded, Barry Allen is put into a coma for 9 months. 9 months where no one knew whether or not Barry was going to live or die after such a traumatic experience. When he does wake up, however, he's not alone, and he finds himself surrounded by employees of Star Labs who are all trying to figure out what that lightning bolt actually did to him and are hoping to help him understand his brand new powers. And with that is the introduction of Team Flash. And Team Flash does a lot in Star Labs to make sure that the Flash is on the cusp of technology, especially dealing with all the problems that his powers could present. Now, what would Team Flash be without Flash himself? Barry Allen, played by Grant Gustin, does a really good job on this team because although he's the focal point and the hero of this story, he likes to share responsibility with every member of Star Labs because they are truly a team, and as a team, they're able to accomplish things that most people couldn't do by themselves, and I think Barry understood that. Putting teamwork to the forefront, Barry is able to get a brand new suit, understand his powers even more, and are able to lock away other people who were negatively affected by the particle accelerator explosion. Because just like Barry, there's a whole host of other human beings who were hit with those dark matter particles, and who knows what negative effects were created. We are introduced to Cisco Ramon, who is a talented mechanical engineer who works for Star Labs and does everything he can to help Barry out and make things easy, going so far as to create the suit that Barry dons to become the Flash. Also in Star Labs is Caitlin Snow, played by Danielle Panabaker, who is a very gifted bioengineer who leaves her job at Mercury Labs to work for Star Labs. Once the particle accelerator explodes, she is completely embarrassed by her hand and everything, and actually devastated because her husband, or fiance at the time, Ronnie Raymond, was killed during the particle accelerator explosion. The show opens up with Caitlin Snow being a little bit resistant to Barry Allen, given everything that's happened to her in the past with this particle accelerator. But if you continue to watch, you find out exactly how Caitlin Snow becomes a valued member of the team. Last but certainly not least, we are introduced to Harrison Wells, played by Tom Cavanaugh. Harrison is the founder of Star Labs, a brilliant scientist who is trying to bring clean energy to Central City. Once the particle accelerator explodes, Harrison is crippled and left in a wheelchair, left to be blamed for all the problems dealing with the particle accelerator, and now on Team Flash is trying to help Barry right all of his wrongs. With this team, Barry is able to understand his powers a little bit more better, understand how fast his metabolism is running. He even gets a brand new suit that is resistant to friction. Team Flash does everything it could to make Flash the perfect superhero for Central City, and I'm glad they're here along for the ride. With his friends and family by his side, Barry is able to tackle all the obstacles in his path, which happens to include a bunch of other humans that were affected by the particle accelerator explosion. A lot of these people were criminals, which brings to light and to justice some of comic books' oldest villains, including Gorilla Grodd, the Weather Wizard, the Trickster, Plastique, Heatwave, Captain Cold. All of them are here, all of them are in full effect, and CW does a tremendous job showcasing them in all of their villainous glory. Majority of these common criminals were dangerous as it is, and now because of that particle accelerator explosion and their new given powers, who knows how dangerous they could be for the Flash. Also, in the Flash's Rogue Gallery, we get the mysterious Man in Yellow. You see, Barry Allen seems to think that there was another person in the house the day that his mother was killed. He claims to have seen a Man in Yellow. Will we see this Man in Yellow in the series of The Flash? And what does he have to do with The Flash and the death of his mother? Well, you'll have to watch the show to find out. In conclusion, The Flash has become one of my favorite superhero shows of all time. I was never really a fan of The Flash or Speedsters in general, but this show has a lot of heart, a lot of humor, and a lot of heroics, and those three seem to be the perfect ingredients to make this show as incredible as it is. It has so many nods and callbacks to the comics that it makes a faithful comic book reader like me so happy to see these storylines and these characters play out on the little screen. If you haven't seen The Flash is available on Netflix with season 3 coming this October to the CW, and we'll be covering it right here on Comic Book Click. If you like this and all the other things that have to do with comic books and comic book media, like knowing all the greatest and latest things to come to comic books and comic book media, you have to tune in to Comic Book Click. You have to like, share, and subscribe videos like this and all the tremendous videos we have in our catalog. This channel is only getting bigger, brighter, and better, and it's because of you guys, the Click, out there spreading the word, so continue to do that. And if you're looking for your Comic Book Click fix, look all throughout social media because our presence is there. We're on Instagram at Comic Book Click, on Facebook.com/Comic Book Click, and you could just go to Google and type in Comic Book Click because we are all over the net trying to bring you guys all the greatest things to come to comic books and comic book media, like reviews like this. With CW having so many shows all connected into a universe, we have to go ahead and review how all those changes affect not only shows like The Flash, but Arrow, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and we're going to be doing all that right here on this channel. My name is George Serrano, aka The Don. This has been Comic Book Click's crash course in all things the CW's Flash. And remember, you are worthy.